Boo boo. Kids and detoxing. That chalk on the shoulder is bothering me. Chalk on the shoulder. No. This is the design of the shirt. Yo, you a fool. Um, but children and detoxing. So like with children, um, so I guess what I would say to that is children and you can't really your focus with children, right? Like for instance, Chase just now. Chase just had some infection. I don't know if he got the infection from school or from being in the gym, especially like the first week or so I had the gym prior to me like going through here, going crazy and bleaching and Lysol and everything like a maniac. Like I went crazy in here. I literally sanitized everything. Um, but the last owner, he was a little nasty. So I don't know if he got it from school because he's in school now and we switched to school and I really don't like the school he's in. But anyway, he had some type of infection and his mom, she's still. So I told her, he was like kind of down for a day or so. And so the next day she kind of got frantic. Oh, well, if you don't woo, then I'm going to take him to the doctor because he has a fever and you don't seem to be interested in stopping his fever. And I'm trying to tell her, the whole idea of fever, right? So the idea of a fever, that's one of your body's main defense systems. Your body raises its temperature past the point where most viruses can replicate. So that's the way your body, that's one of the ways your body, attempts to get rid of the infection on its own. Most people get scared and immediately rush to stop the fever. And when you do that, if you're successful at doing that, or even slowing the fever down, you basically take away one of the biggest, fighting mechanisms against the virus. So you're kind of allowing the virus to replicate. So anyway, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? Mom, you get whatever. So I don't I've learned over years not to be overbearing with who I am. And so I'm like, all right, well, listen, if you take them to the doctor, it's a guarantee. They're going to look in there. If they're halfway decent, they'll see some inflammation, some leftover stuff going on. And they're probably going to offer him like a painkiller or some, inflammatory, but they're not going to give him antibiotics because his body should be fighting off the infection all by itself. Sure enough, she went in there. They said he had a little bit of inflammation left over and looks like he was in good shape, and said that, if she wasn't comfortable, here's a prescription for, you can go get him some Motrin from like Children's Motrin or at best. So, basically I had already tightened him up with a whole bunch of stuff that got rid of the infection. So anyway, that long story to bring you around back to the point of your question with children and detoxing. With children, you don't really want to, they don't really like the taste of herbs, and it's just going to be a whole bunch of work for you. They're not going to enjoy it. It'll be traumatic. With them, you just want to focus on the body's antioxidant systems, making sure they have all of the minerals, the amino acids, particularly that their body needs to be able to formulate all of the enzymes that your body uses to fight off infections. So it's really not a matter of detoxing the children, just making sure they have everything their body needs to, put that 1-2 in. And you want to make sure the body has the right amount of fatty, you want to get them the right amount of fatty acids, and particularly just focusing on DHA to help rebuild the cell membranes. So that's one of the issues that, may or may not be getting discussed with infections in anybody. Pets, people, little people, big people, old people, young people, whatever, right? The virus wants to invade your cells, and, so your cell membranes can become compromised. The outer membrane as well as the inner membrane, known as the endoplasmic reticulum. So you just want to make sure they have all the nutrients they're supposed to have. Make sure they have, adequate amounts of vitamin D and all that kind of stuff, right? So, but anyway, like a maniac, but look like a Yakko sweater. How many sizes the Mama Thomas come in? Only one size. How do I? Would antihistamines do justice? Nah, antihistamines. No. Peace and love from London. Peace and love right back. No, antihistamines are just to, it's an aspect of inflammation. The idea is to get the white blood cells under control and you don't have such a, histamine release. But your body shouldn't have an overreaction to histamine anyway unless you got some other issues going on. But an infection doesn't necessarily show up that way. I mean, so if you get like redness or swelling, obviously there's histamine being released, minor forms of edema, fluid building up, etc., etc. But you really just want to focus on the main issue, which is making sure your body or the baby or the child has enough of the raw materials that your body uses to do what it does. Right? Let me see if I can. Just want to check something. No. Alright, yeah, see, I don't know how to mess with these options. We just gonna leave it. It's live, it's working, it's good. It's just a little dark for my taste. I'm like, what's going on? Because I'm looking at the YouTube camera versus the IG, and IG is kind of lit. But anyway, I want to get into, so we got 51 people watching and only 30 thumbs up. So that means 20 of y'all are haters. A thumb up is free. Yo. Dr. Such and Such riding your 40-day fast saying that's the worst fast you could be on. Oh, man. It's all right. Let him do that. He's struggling with his life. And hey, he's struggling with his life. God bless him. Hopefully things turn around for him. But at this point, we've been doing it for so many years and we've had so much success with people with, just like weight loss, clearing their skin, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer. Like, I don't need to respond to people saying that the fast is anything less than optimal. You know what I mean? The proof is in the pudding. But anyway, I got y'all all in here, right? So we fluctuating between like 15 people and 30 people on IG. And we got like another 50 people on YouTube. But anyway, so what I want to talk about is hormone issues because I feel like this is not getting enough attention. And I don't think people, so I'm going to keep on dealing with this. And I know at the beginning of the year, me and Chase sat down and we talked about fructose and liver health. Well, they kind of tie in, right? And so one of the things I want to get across is just a dot that needs to be connected in our quest, our steps to learning this whole health thing. Africa and Jew Pukram and just the list goes on. You know what I mean? Joel Wallach and just a bunch of really sharp, forward-thinking folks. We're getting the idea now, right, that the body it's not like separate. You can't have heart issues without those issues affecting. So we kind of understand now to get this holistic view of the body. We're getting it, right? The other piece that we're not looking at is that if all of the systems in the body are connected, and any one thing that affects one of those systems affects the rest of the body, then all of the illnesses are connected, right? All of the illnesses are connected, which is part of the understanding. And I think that's kind of what makes the detox so revolutionary in the way I put it together. But it was really just years of trial and error. A lot of wisdom that went into it as opposed to quote unquote knowledge. Me seeing me giving people, 5, 6, 7, 8 different compounds to deal with one issue. I started to see the patterns where, okay, well, so estrogen, let's just look at the estrogen for today's conversation, right? So estrogen causes your fat cells to swell up, right? So the fat cells swell up, they pump out more estrogen because your adipocytes, or your fat cells, make up, like they have their own, like it's almost a glandular system, because they secrete compounds, and so they produce and help your body stay estrogen dominant. And the bigger they get, the bigger their influence, right? Because they can produce more. And so the more estrogen you get, the bigger the fat cells get, the more estrogen they pump out, the more estrogen that goes back into them. So that's a rat race, right? That's like running on a treadmill, which is one of the reasons why sometimes people think they're changing their diet for the better. They get in the gym, they're exercising, they're adopting some stuff, and they're not really losing the weight like they want to, right? But then that causes insulin levels to start going crazy, right? That also causes your brain to not be able to utilize leptin properly, right? So what does that lead to? That leads to, you have an excess amount of estrogen flow through the body. So now you're starting to lose definition and muscle mass, right? Ladies, that's not as much of a big deal until it starts to happen to their breast and their butt and their facial features, right? So that's estrogen dominance in ladies. Your face starts to sag, your breasts start to sag, your butt starts to droop, right? If you're lucky enough to be blessed with a booty, right? So you start sagging. Men, you start sagging. One of the brothers that I just had an argument with. Now this is why I know this is a more pressing issue, because even relationships are strained with this whole hormone thing. Now I tell a brother, we got different types of relationships. I tell him, listen, we just can't do business anymore because I don't like the way he's doing business. Man, this guy gets super emotional, goes crazy. Anyway, so I can see the signs that he has a hormone imbalance, but he also works out like 2-3 hours a day. Like literally, he works out 2 or 3 hours a day and has zero definition, right? So if you're dealing with a situation where you're eating right, you're going to the gym, and you're putting forth the effort and the time, most personal trainers don't know what I'm saying to you right now. Most nutritionists don't know what I'm saying to you right now. So even if you're paying a personal trainer or a nutritionist, you still may not get this. So you working out, you're changing your diet, but you're not getting definition. You're not getting any definition because you don't have the adequate amount of anabolic hormones in your body. What that also does is it starts to break things down. What does that do? On a larger scale in your body, it breaks the systems apart. So the cells, tissues, glands, organs stop communicating with each other. They lose synchronization, right? Your body is, because your body's breaking down, your antioxidants that you have or you may be consuming get spent a lot faster. When that happens, your sleep patterns go off. As your sleep patterns go off, your cells lose the ability to repair themselves. Your mitochondria starts to leak electrons. It starts to, we can go into almost every area. This leads to the glycocalyx, which protects the mucous membrane being shed. So now you have yeast converting into fungus, which lays the framework for tumor, cancer production, fibroids, etc. So all of these things are connected. You understand? So every illness that we see is connected. So if we can just buckle down and focus and address one area in our body and stick to it, like when you set a goal for yourself, I want you to be able to just stick to that one goal until it's complete, until it's transformed. There's no cookie cutter. That's why the name of the new book is Eat Right for Your Haplotype. Now you guys can still get the book at livingbiochemistry.com. You can still join the class at livingbiochemistry.com. What we're doing in that class is nothing short of remarkable, right? And the students is such a diverse group in there. We got doctors, biochemists, and so you literally in a study group that you're paying for 18 months. It's for 18 months, right? Live. And then you're locked in for life afterward. But you're in there with doctors, nurses, health professionals, other curious minds, etc. So it's really dope on a whole bunch of different levels. But what we've been able to do is remarkable in such a short stream of time because we're light years. But anyway, so man, all right. So I think we're still live on IG, man. I just tried to call and mess up the thing, and it was like a sales thing. It's like a 1-800 number. But anyway, the reason why it's called Eat Right for Your Haplotype is because we're all different. And we all have to adopt different protocols, regimens, etc. to get what we need to be optimal, right? So what I want to talk about is a couple of different things. Let's go into these guys here. All right, hopefully you guys can see. Let's try to see my booty, right? Andropause. Andropause. I don't know why I put the verses up there. I put andropause versus menopause, but it's really more like andropause and menopause. Alright, hold on to y'all questions because I don't want to miss none. What's the site? livingbiochemistry.com. livingbiochemistry.com. Every time I eat, I get full of anxiety. You gotta change what you're eating. Pancake ass, no bueno. Yo, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Cats is crazy. Yes, I definitely ship to the UK all the time. All right, so andropause versus menopause. All right, technically, there's no evidence that either one of these things are ground in our innate biology. Okay, there's no proof of that. There's no clock that they've been able to find in your body that's ticking with an alarm set forward and then start taking you backwards, which is literally what's happening with andropause and menopause. All right. Now, this is a unisex conversation, I promise you. But we're going to spend probably 60% of the conversation discussing andropause and men's health, etc. Right? The reason being is because I don't think this is getting enough light. Menopause has been kind of discussed for a while, and but we're going to get into both of them today. Hopefully, if we have time. I think IG only gives us like an hour, and the crazy thing is so what they need to put on Instagram is like a little like a timer. Since they're giving you an hour, they should at least be counting down, because it's not like you can see your own stuff on your phone with Instagram stuff. I just got my whole screen and I can't see whatever. Whatever. So anyway, right? Andropause is basically the opposite of puberty, right? Now, what puberty is this? For men, right? When the baby is first consumed, right? You have the smallest cell in the body, sperm cell, merging with the largest cell in the female body, egg cell. Got a fertilized fetus. Just making it super simple for you guys. Fertilized fetus. There are two scientifically acceptable ways to look at it. You can say that the fetus is female until the hormones are produced, which changes it to male. Or you can say that it is sex neutral until a certain point. But that point in time is the average amount of time that it takes for testosterone to pop up and basically bathe the baby in this beautiful, beautiful liquid, like baptizing the baby and changing the baby into a male, right? So you can have either perspective. It's cool, but the fact remains that because of this special process, this is why we have males, and this is why males are much rarer than females. So I think there's like one boy being born for every 10 girls or something like that right now, right? So that process is ongoing. That process is ongoing. It doesn't just stop there, right? You have bursts throughout your life of testosterone. And then at some point, we get overwhelmed with chemicals, toxins, virus, bacteria, you just name it. We get overwhelmed and we stop the building process, and then slowly but surely every year we deteriorate a little bit more and more and more. What information is doing, what social media is doing, is giving us the ability to transmit data across the planet. Like right now, right? Whether you are part of now we're fluctuating from between 25 and 35 on Instagram. So we're doing a little something. On YouTube, we're moving from 50 to 60. So we got about 100 people. But I've already got shout outs from like North Africa, London, the UK, a bunch of people in the States. I see my Canada folks on. So we global, right? So social media gives us the ability to be able to, just put information around the world. And when the information is good, like the brother just said, somebody is on their Facebook right now slandering the 40-day fruit fast, right? The brother he's referring to is mad. I guess he feel like he getting revenge because he put up a post that said, here are the healthy exercises: walking, breathing, running, and something else. And then puts bad exercises, cardio, and weights. And the crazy thing is the good exercises were a description of cardio. So it just was like an idiotic post to put up. And I critiqued the post because a lot of people brought it to my attention, but I didn't mention the brother's name. So he's getting his revenge, or whatever the case may be. But my point is just as good of a tool as social media can be used to put good information out there to help people, etc., etc. It can be kind of dangerous if you don't have a good lens to filter the information through. So the things that I'm saying to you, I want you to use these devices that you're getting the information on to go back and verify. If you don't know what andropause, menopause, anything else we discuss is, you pull it up. And we're going to do 2 more of these pop-ups. Okay, depending on the results of the pop-ups, we may keep the pop-ups going on because this is kind of dope, right? I got my phone right there with the IG fam, I got the YouTube fam, so it's dope to be able to bring everybody together. But we have a big issue. One of the things that we are not looking at, right, one of the things that we're not looking at is, and if I just cover all the basic pointers, I think we'll be really good. But one of the things that we're doing is we have this disconnect. So we see in the aquatic, right, the water-based wildlife, anywhere we get an accumulation of xenoestrogens, right? Let me put that up there, right? Xenoestrogens. Right? Xenoestrogens are chemicals that behave like estrogen in your body. Right? So we look around and we see anywhere where there's water-based wildlife and xenoestrogens accumulate, the males become females in that environment. And that's totally, okay? Totally. The males totally become females, meaning their physicality changes. They literally go from having male genitalia, male reproductive systems to female body parts. Their bodies physically change. Now, what I need you guys to understand is A, the physical change takes place long after the emotional and mental changes. Okay? So these males lost their masculine mindset, their masculine emotional set, long before their bodies physically changed into having female parts, right? Now, the same thing is true for all of the land-based animals that we've seen living in environments where xenoestrogens have been able to accumulate. Now, where the disconnect comes in is two places. A, when we use animals, the term animals, science-wise, in most places anyway, we separate ourselves from animals. We forget that we're also animals. We forget that we're also water-based life. So if it's happening to the rest of the water-based animal, land animal, then why would we not? You see what I'm saying? Now, the other piece is the xenoestrogens that are pooling in these waters or that are being, however they're getting into the systems of the land-based animals, these are from the leftovers of what we're using. It's the leftovers of what we're using. So how do you think you're not affected, man? When you're putting the wave grease in and the lotion and the this, that, and the other, and the cooking, the chemicals, the plastics, and all of these various chemicals that, the aerosol sprays and the body deodorants and, all of these things. If just the leftover xenoestrogens are enough, right, to change the males into females, what do you think is happening from the animals, i.e. us, that are in direct these things? They're just getting the runoff. And the runoff is enough to change males into females. What do you think is happening to those of us that's getting the full brunt? Right? And remember, the physical change happens way later than the mental and emotional change. Right? So, just loss of ambition alone. Now, people be like, oh man, you pick on weed sometimes, or people get angry with me because I'm like, yo, I like the marijuana plant. I love the marijuana plant, but it has downsides. A lot of people can't keep their ambition up. A lot of people get lazy, and part of that now I understand is because it's a female plant. Remember, when you look at the cannabis plant, right, the marijuana plant, the sativa, indica, however you want to do it, right? Remember that the hemp is the male plant and that has very little THC. The female plant is where all the, high amounts of THC that gives you the high is at, right? Along with some of the other medicinal stuff, but most of the people only talk medicinal stuff. They play with the plant because they want to get high, right? So you got to know how to balance these things. That's a female plant. It's going to boost or potentially affect your estrogen levels, right? And you can, feel free, look this stuff up. That's what we're writing this here for. But so even your ambition, your ability to accomplish goals and move on to the next one, and how much you want out of life, right? That's tied to your hormone levels. So a lot of sisters, right? That's a conversation. Yo, I can't deal with these men they just lazy. They don't want nothing out of life. They just so satisfied with nothing. They just get a little bit and they just satisfied with a. Okay, well, there's a biochemical reality for that, right? This is why we have to learn biochemistry, right? The history of biochemistry or biology, or excuse me, microbiology, right? Which kind of was a precursor to biochemistry, was people control. It was funded to learn how to control people, right? The original name for microbiology was simply eugenics. But at the time, when they were looking to institute that program throughout the colleges in America and Europe, eugenics had gotten such a bad name that they had to come up with something different, and it was microbiology, basically the biology of biology. What makes cells, what makes them do whatever they do? If we figure out that mechanism, then we know how to control cells. If we know how to control a cell, then we know how to control anything made out of cells, right? So that was years ago. They done mastered that and thus mastered most forms of life. So this is why, people can be controlled. Like that whole, I'm always so far ahead of the learning curve that I always look a little crazy to some people, right? So when people were back on that whole Illuminati wave and, they're going to give you the chip, they're going to give you the microchip in your head or microchip in your neck or the microchip in your head, I was laughing at people there like, yo, y'all are nuts. You already got the microchip. The microchip is your environment, your diet. All I have to do is control your environment and your diet, and I can control your biochemistry. If I'm controlling your biochemistry, remember, I'm controlling also your neurochemistry. So I'm controlling how you behave, what you're going to do, yada, yada, yada. That's why throughout all the prisons in America, they're mostly all vegan, vegetarian already. Most of the chicken and beef that they're selling, feeding the prisoners, right? But they do sell the food to the prisons. That's a big part of the prison bag, so to speak. Is estrogen, soy, right? The whole vegan movement in California was just a big soy-based one, right? So, and this is not necessarily a shot at anybody that's, transgender, living an alternative lifestyle. None of that. I got family members that have, chosen alternative lifestyles and whatever the case may be. But for me, it was a no-brainer that California, being the quote-unquote home of transgenders and that whole movement, would also be the biggest place that soy is consumed. You see? So for me, that's just 2 + 2 being 4 again, right? But you got to look at these things real quick, right? So here you have two different, you had the two general different waves of people, right? You got your matrix people, right? Your 85ers, right? The staple of the general diet beer, milk, and bread. Right? Then on the health side, the staple is soy. The staple is soy. So that's showing you, that's showing, and the crazy thing about these guys, right? Beer and bread. Beer and bread have the exact same ingredients. These are, spelling it wrong. Well, I done destroyed that so bad, no one's gonna even be able to read that. But fraternal twins, right? Beer and bread are fraternal twins. Exact same ingredients. The only thing is how you prepare those ingredients, right? So you ferment versus baking is the only difference, but you have the exact same ingredients. And soy, obviously, we already know what time it is. But basically, you have an estrogen dominant diet, whether you go the healthy route or whether you go, unless you know better, right? So there were loose pockets of people discussing the soy and whatever. But when my crew came along, you know, we really put the vegan mafia energy, and we really started a serious global movement. And big up to Prince in Philly. We get ready to do the second annual vegan cookout. The second annual vegan cookout. So if you haven't seen the flyer or the information for that, you probably want to check my page. We only got like 15 minutes, so make sure y'all are on the lookout for the next 2 pop-ups, right? So we're gonna finish this. We're gonna finish it. We got some more minutes, but I just want to tell y'all now before the joint cuts off. But yeah, so we got 2 more pop-ups. So I'm not gonna tell y'all when the pop-up is, right? You just gotta be on my Instagram, so you stay tuned, right? Or if you are on YouTube, you gotta be a subscriber, you know, and subscribe, like, whatever. I think that'll keep you in the loop. You know what I'm saying? But so you got this estrogen thing going on. Hops, right? Then the other thing you got going on over here is this is a highly fungus-based. This is a highly fungus-based diet. So that's another thing you want to deal with, which kind of crosses over, because estrogen creates a catabolic environment inside the body, and where fungus can kind of thrive anyway. And then if you have that continued terraforming inside your body, you'll eventually get some cells. Obviously, that's going to be the birth of cancer or tumor formation in the body, right? But so this is what we're kind of dealing with at large. Now, maybe 20 years ago, we were under the, maybe longer than that. This time is going so fast. I feel like I'm still 20, right? Which is definitely not super far from the truth. But maybe you figure out the timeline. But we looked at women. The older science was women are estrogen-based, no testosterone. Men are testosterone-based, no estrogen. Now we know that's not the truth, right? That was the biggest key to me being able to crack the code, especially with fibroids, right? So we got a lot of family out there now doing big things. But that was one of the keys to cracking that code, is that there's testosterone that has to be produced to keep the ovaries and the womb healthy, right? To keep that an anabolic place, right? Men, testosterone, but you have small amounts of estrogen to balance your neurochemistry, right? So there's some instances where, so building and destroying are part of life, right? The catabolic hormones led by the estrogen family is the destruction, right? Or the female aspect, right? So you look back in some of the ancient literature, you see Kali, and some of the, you see Sekhmet. And then the building was always the male aspect because of the male hormones, etc., etc. So a lot of the stories we have from antiquity, they actually cover a lot of biology. That's another story. So anyway, I wrote down some points to try to remember. Let me see if we got any questions, because I wrote down some points, but y'all, the family that watches me, y'all already know how I get down. You know what I'm saying? One point, I have my own mental blocks, right? Because like I'll write these points down. I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna hit all these points, and I write down maybe, like for now, it's 1 hour, right? So, but I done wrote down like 30, 40 points, and knowing that I would do 20, 30 minutes on each point, right? So that doesn't, time-wise, that doesn't work. So let me see if we got any questions real quick. Because we got another, what do we got? Another 12 minutes. No, soy is not healthy. Oh, shucks. All the words look backwards on the blackboard. Okay. Okay. Yes, I don't know how to figure that out. We'll do something. Plastics. I might go to the vegan cookout. Make it to the vegan cookout. It was epic last year. We literally we fed over 100 people that day. And we had a lot of Philadelphia royalty come out. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to the Old Heads family. Big shout out to B.Y. Jennings, who is always going to be Philadelphia's heavyweight champion. Big up to Prince, the Vegan Mafia, Black and Nobel family. Like just a lot of people came through and showed love. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be even crazier this year, especially with Meek just getting out and, just the advances we've been able to make over the last year. What's his YouTube? Minister Enqi. Yeah, Minister Enqi is my YouTube. All right, so I'm gonna get to you guys in a second. Link up Enqi. Boom. Bro, you out the country. We gotta use social media. I'm a raw vegan trying to get feedback on whether that's the healthiest way to go with healing. It depends on what you're trying to heal from. Healing has two different aspects. You know what I'm saying? You have one aspect of healing where you're trying to stop whatever the problem is that you got going on. And then once you get that to stop, or you beat it, or you kill the bugs, whatever the case may be, then you have to repair all of the parts of the body that were damaged due to whatever dysfunction was going on. So the raw diet is going to definitely be best in terms of healing and getting whatever situations going on stopped. However, the repairing, once you get to the second phase, you might want to incorporate some cooked stuff just to make sure you're getting enough amino acids in your body. You can't really repair or regenerate or rebuild tissues without amino acids, without fatty acids. And those are the more challenging things for people I notice convert to a plant-based diet, right? So it just really depends on what you're dealing with and then what type of supplementation you're including. If you're not including supplementation, it doesn't matter what diet, you're in trouble. All right, so that's for you, Miss Candace. Do you offer fibroid treatment? Of course, it's in the book. It's in the book. Get the book. Eat Right for Your Haplotype has all of my protocols for every illness. All of the protocols is in there, step by step by step. MCT oil on a fast for cognitive rejuvenation. Is that a real thing? No, that's not a real thing. Can MCT oil or coconut oil be a part of a protocol for cognitive rejuvenation? Absolutely. But can it in of itself? If your issue is fuel uptake in your brain, but I doubt that's the only issue. Especially if there's cognitive issues going on, there's going to be some mineral deficiencies. It may be some structural stuff going on. So MCT oil is not going to cover all that. It's definitely good for the brain. Healthy fats in the morning. Healthy fats all day. Now you want to try to get them out the way early as possible. So I get it with it in the morning, but for some people, you just gotta tell them all day so they know. Smart people can read that. No worries. Definitely going to consider it. No whip. So that Chinese bus. Wow. Hey, I'll be on the Chinese bus too. Don't be attacking the Chinese bus or the people that ride the Chinese bus. Spinal injury. Spinal injury, the main thing we're going to concentrate on with that is probably staying hydrated. At a super intracellular level. Mama Thomas is great for that. But then also making sure we have all the raw nutrients in there for cartilage, and sea moss is good for that. But like I said, it's a lot more components that you will get in the book. Wait, let me show you guys the book. Right? Here's the book, so you guys see the book. Now this is the hardcover limited edition. This is mine. I don't think I have any of these left. But if you order it, the one you'll get is paperback, and it's thick. It's 400 and something pages, half of which is right, like this. Like half of it is just protocol. So this page right here deals with cataracts, macular degeneration, etc., etc. But all this stuff is, for the most part, is in the book. B vitamins in the Mama Atomics. No, B vitamins are not in the Mama Atomics in high concentration. It's in the Mama Atomics because of the herbs that are in there has B vitamins. Chemiluminescence or the parasite purge that you get with the detox, or sold separately, however you get it, that has a lot more of your good vegan source B vitamins. The pink lips or the herbal hydration, that is a much better source of B vitamins, as well as some DHA and stuff like that. But it's you can still go outside and double up on your supplementation. Get these nutrients in, especially your water vitamins, which are vitamin C and then the B vitamins, because your body gets rid of them like this. If you feel like, as soon as you get angry throughout the day, like if you get angry, no matter what time it is, if you get angry, you just lost all your B vitamins. Just know that. So that's why some people, they call them stress vitamins. So anytime you get stressed, you should have some sort of B vitamin mixture, whether it's herbal or whatever, to replace those B vitamins and to make you feel better, to balance your body chemistry. I think my biddy have parasites, my stomach hurt. You gotta get that detox. You gotta get that detox. All right, now let's see what the YouTube family's saying real quick before we get off. All right, time check, 15 minutes in, whatever. Brain Sex is a good book on the topic. All right, Brain Sex. I haven't read the book, but Brain Sex. The doctor said homosexuality is caused by imbalance of zinc and copper. When copper is far higher than zinc, you get homosexuality. Any truth to this? No. Homosexuality is not caused by imbalance of zinc and copper. That is a super oversimplification that goes like let's just take that off the table. Is there a reverse for becoming male? Becoming male is largely based on your anabolic hormone. So, for instance, when you hit your climax at whatever age that is, and you start to lose your anabolic hormone production and your free-floating testosterone production, you're going to have some issues, right? You are technically moving back towards being neutral gender or a female from that point going forward, right? So just because, like, if your penis is not working, that is a super sign that you are far along the line in estrogen dominance, along with some other issues. But taking a dick pill, so to speak, excuse my French, it doesn't help that. So it may help you get an erection and have an ejaculation or have sex with, have fun with your sexual partner, but it's not going to fix the fact, it'll mask the fact that you're losing your masculinity. But no, you can fix it by, getting the proper nutrients in to fortify your body system. And that's what we did with the Magic Bond. I learned better, I did better, and Magic Bond became the Godhead. And then even still, in the Godhead, we had great success with. When I had Magic Bond, I actually had Magic Bond 1, Magic Bond 2, and Magic Bond 3, right? 3 separate male formulas for reproduction, hormone support, etc., etc. I learned and synthesized and went back to the table, pulled them off, and just came up with a better one for you guys, because it's cheaper for me to put together one formula that does all 3, the same thing that all 3 did, as opposed to selling you 3 different products. Now, most people are driven by money. I'm not. I'm driven by results. So my thing was to get you guys the most effective thing possible for the lowest amount of money. So that became the Godhead. Fast forward, it was just good timing that, my daughter annoyed the hell out of me and wanted to do her own thing. But one of the things was she wanted to sit down with me and see what we could do to improve any of the existing formulas. So Godhead now became anabolic hormone support. And it's basically the same formula, but we added a pollen matrix to it and then adjusted the herbs to suit the pollen matrix, right? And pollen is, so we talk a lot about soy, right? Soy, really quick, we got a minute left. Soy, really quick, is what's called a phytoestrogen, a plant-based estrogen, right? But there are a lot of different female plants with female things that will produce or help to produce estrogen in the body. But there's the same thing in the plant kingdom for androgens or male hormones or anabolic hormones. And the most potent are pollens, and we've collected those and synthesized those into a compound to get, it's incredible, the results we get now. So people are buying the anabolic hormone. But the problem is people will go on the 40dayfruitfast.com looking for the anabolic hormone support, and it's not there. You got to go to onetone.earth to get the newer formula. The Godhead still works, though. People still using it to build their body. People still using it to get a general I salute you. But you can do better, because we haven't more long-lasting results and higher people are having higher counts of sexually binded testosterone and also free-floating testosterone. But the website is, again, I see somebody on IG, onetone.earth. So it's not a .com. Don't wait for it. It's onetone.earth. That's where you can get the antibiotic, the new compound with the pollens in it. All right, so the pop-up is over, family. Peace. We had like 150 people total on IG. I don't know how many people total we have on YouTube, but we're going to do these pop-ups again. Stay tuned, right? Support. Go to the websites, hook the brother up, do what y'all do on y'all end. I'm gonna do what I do on my end, and we're gonna get this thing. We're gonna continue to problem solve, right? If we don't take care of us, we don't get taken care of. It's just that simple, right? So peace to the family, and I can't wait till y'all come here and see this place in person. You know what I'm saying? We can work out, definitely wash your hands, come on over to the cafe, sit down. We got the herbs, the food, everything that you need, full package, and also the vegan classroom, right? Vegan classroom inside restaurant. Yes, I know y'all all want to know the name of the restaurant, but I'm not telling y'all the name of the restaurant yet, right? So once we finish, get it trademarked and secured, I'll tell y'all the name of the restaurant. Till then, peace.